Pre-combed hair. Nice. Boop, that's better. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about a movie that is cherished by many and loved specifically by my mom. I'm of course talking about The Polar Express. So this is a movie that came out in 2004, and I was 15 in 2004. I don't really remember being 15. Maybe that's because it was just full of angst. So maybe that's why I just haven't really been able to connect with this movie very much. So let me tell you what it's about, just in case you're one of the 2 people that haven't seen it. The movie is about a little boy who wakes up in the middle of the night and there's a giant train outside of his bedroom, which would terrify me, honestly, but he thinks it's a magical thing. And Tom Hanks plays a mustache conductor, and he's like, "Come on to my train, little boy." Okay, so it's not as creepy as it sounds. And the train is headed for the North Pole, and it's filled with a couple of other kids. Why these kids specifically, I'm not really sure. At first I was like, oh, well maybe all of the kids don't believe in Santa Claus, so this train is taking them to the North Pole to show them that there is a Santa Claus. But for all intents and purposes, there's only like, I think a couple of kids that don't believe in Santa Claus. Maybe all the other kids didn't believe in Santa Claus, but when the giant train heading to the North Pole just magically showed up in their backyard, they were like, maybe not. Maybe this is possible. If a magic train showed up in my backyard and saying, "Come on, we're going to the North Pole," I would just think, well, I have gone insane now. So most of the movie is just the journey to the North Pole, and there's hot cocoa, there's songs, there's the main character talking to other characters on the train who are also played by Tom Hanks. Pretty much most of the adults in this movie are all played by Tom Hanks. Which Tom Hanks does a fine job. I mean, Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks, so he's good. There's a couple of musical numbers in here that I've never really cared for. Like, I just don't think, I feel like they were definitely like forced in there. Like, this movie is based on a short book, and I feel like this would have made a good short movie instead of an hour-and-a-half long movie. I actually get more interested in the movie when they actually get to the North Pole and they kind of explore the North Pole, which is much more of a city than just like a cottage in the snow. And I think by far Tom Hanks' best performance in this movie is as Santa Claus. Spoiler. Tom Hanks is Santa Claus. But what a lot of people seem to have a problem with in this movie is the animation. Now, this was directed by Robert Zemeckis, and for a while he was doing a lot of this kind of CGI onto real actors type animation. I think this was the first movie he did that with. The second one, I think, was Beowulf. And those 2 movies both kind of have the same problem, where you do feel like you recognize the actor a little too much, but all of the people look like kind of stiff robot people. It kind of wants to make people look more like cartoons, and the result just doesn't completely work on the eyes. Probably the fact that they look too much like people, and yet their skins are really smooth, and they don't have like the distinct facial things that real people do. For this movie, I can kind of get past that. Like, it is kind of a little bothersome, but it doesn't really bother me that much. It's kind of the story that bothers me about this movie a little. I actually think they did the effect a lot better in Robert Zemeckis' later Christmas movie, A Christmas Carol, with Jim Carrey, which isn't as popular as Polar Express, but I think is a little bit better. I don't want to completely hate on this movie, because I think it does have a lot of good stuff. It has great atmosphere, it has great Christmassy type tone to it. What am I doing? And I definitely don't mind watching it every year. It's, like I said, it's one of my mom's favorite movies, so we watch it every Christmas. Just fast forward past the part with the Steven Tyler elf. It's just unnatural. I'll see you guys later, because right now I have to leave to go to a free improv class that I've never been to before. I'll tell you later how that goes. Bye-bye.